Well, the United States is the largest trafficker of children in the world. Children that are illegally kidnapped, brought across the U.S.-Mexico border, are then sold off to mostly wealthy Americans, used as sex slaves, and worse, if you can imagine, worse than that. It's happening, and the corporate media, of course, is largely ignoring the story for whatever reason. They refuse to touch the story, and when they do, they briefly touch it, and then it disappears. You can't find links on their website. It vanishes very mysteriously when they cover these stories. Many of these kids, these children, are kept in hidden...
So 350,000 unaccompanied children in the last 2 years have come into our country, and Joe Biden's administration doesn't know where 85,000 of those kids are.
Hey, what company you guys with? Where are you guys taking this kid? Is this your kid here? Sir, is this your kid? You know these kids are kind of going places they never heard from again, right?
No.
Are you with me, sir? Can I ask what company you're with?
No.
No? You won't tell me?
No.
Okay. Why are you being so secretive?
Don't worry about it, sir. Can you stop bothering me?
Why are you hiding your name badge? Why are you so ashamed of what you're doing with these kids?
You don't have my permission to be taking any pictures.
This is a public-facing place. I've already talked to the police. Hey, where are you guys flying to today? Don't get in my face,
you're
sir.
getting in my space, sir.
You're getting in my space?
You're getting in my space. I need you to back down.
Okay, I'm right here.
All right, can you back down over there?
You're stepping towards me, sir. How you guys doing? Yes, I can. This is a public place. Why are you guys being so secretive? Who are the kids in the car? Every month, thousands of foreign children are trafficked into the United States via the U.S.-Mexico border. They are detained by Border Patrol, held in top-secret compounds, and delivered into the hands of human traffickers by government contractors, some of whom are CIA affiliated. A sophisticated network of traffickers and smugglers are using the United States federal government as part of the logistical chain of their child trafficking operation. All of this is openly acknowledged by the Department of Homeland Security and Congress. Since 2021, 85,000 migrant children have gone missing, never to be heard from again. Others have been subjected to involuntary servitude, debt bondage, commercial sex trafficking, and possibly forced organ harvesting. This video will show how the United States federal government is facilitating the largest child trafficking ring in the world.
Well, while the world focuses on Israel and what happens there in the Middle East, the United States is still under a massive invasion, and it's getting worse. New estimates have 18,000 illegal immigrants pouring across the border in the United States every day. It was 15,000. Before that, it was 10,000. Now 18,000, could even be higher than that. Michael Yon is at the center of all of it in the Darien Gap in Panama, where, of course, these flows from Venezuela, from China, are pouring through the Darien Gap from Panama, and then they're put on buses and then driven right to the U.S. border. This invasion is getting worse. Michael joins us from Panama. Michael, it's like totally being ignored, it seems, right now in the face of what's happening in Israel.
It is. That's why I haven't run off to Israel. I mean, if the United States dies, Israel dies by default. I mean, if our tree dies, they're just a small apple on a larger tree.
Right.
They're just they're gonna be gone, as will Taiwan and so many others, right? And so, actually, a career Border Patrol friend just sent me an article this morning saying 18,000 known gotaways. Known gotaways are people that they actually picked up on sensors and that sort of thing. So they saw them come across the border, and then they didn't even encounter them, didn't say hello, so to speak.
18,000 known gotaways. These are the 18,000 that they know about. So how many more do we suspect we don't even know about that have gotten away?
Oh, more. And that was over a 16-day period, but there's more. There's clearly more. And keep in mind, we're only talking about the southern border. There's the northern border, and then there's the, people coming up on the Florida beaches, and it just goes on and on and on. And this doesn't include the people flying in every day, which is a lot. I mean, we have hundreds of thousands per year now, at least, flying in that are being brought in, quote-unquote, legally by this, again, air quotes, government. I mean, I haven't stepped foot in Ukraine during this war or Israel because of, look, if we die, it's over for them anyway, right? And so meanwhile, this is, interestingly, now I'm not piecing these two things together other than I noticed it. There's two new camps being built in the Darien Gap. We just flew over them on Sunday and photographed them from the sky, and also we've been down there on the ground.
Hold on, before you go into, can you explain what is a camp? When you say we saw two new camps being built, what are these camps? What do these camps do? In case our audience never saw you before and doesn't understand the context here.
Yeah, that's important. They are they're really not camps anymore. They're more like bus stops and boat stops for as people come in from all over the world through South America, and they go through Colombia up into Panama through something called the Darien Gap. They go through a jungle there, and as they emerge from the jungle, they go into numerous camps. But now these camps have been made so efficient that they're more like bus stops in the jungle. And so right now, for instance, at La Blanca's camp, where I've been, I don't know, at least 50 times on the ground and in the air, even more, that camp can bring 3,000 to 5,000 a day right now. And then there's other camps anyway. And so we've already got a huge infrastructure down there, which is almost saturated. But they're building two new camps, and these two new camps could do another 30,000 per day, right? And they're building these per day, I said. This is and they're adding the bus infrastructure and all these other things. But what I was about to mention was these two new camps. I mean, I was just down there doing my thing in Darien, rummaging around, which is what you need to do when you're doing this work. And okay, there's two new camps. This is substantial. And then the Israeli war kicked off. Okay, they were connected in time. It doesn't mean they're related. But it's interesting that these two new camps started being built just before the war. I mean, It could be coincidence, but now you have people talking about moving basically Gaza over to the United States. I mean, and over to Scotland and other places.
Holy smokes. So have you seen, I know you've seen from our discussions, I think, you've already seen Palestinians coming through the Darien Gap. You've definitely seen some, but now maybe not the huge flood that we could see. Do you anticipate that could be the reason why?
It could be. I mean, I'm not connecting those dots, but those dots are very close together on the graph. And so it's just I'm down here doing my thing, checking the pulse, looking at the geography and how the infrastructure is changing, and then hey, two new camps. And we go down and we droned one a couple times, and then we came back with the aircraft and got numerous camps on Sunday, and now you see, boom, the Israeli war.
Unbelievable. And so the idea that we would bring Palestinians into the United States, God, we're bringing in millions of illegal immigrants into the United States already. We have obviously massive amounts of refugees from the Ukraine war. We're happy to bring them in and to destabilize the United States. We need cheap labor in the United States. We have 1 million manufacturing jobs in the U.S. that aren't being filled by anybody. So we need this labor. So Palestinians coming into the United States, basically a recreation of Gaza in the U.S.?
Easily. I mean, they're already coming across. For instance, Venezuela, there's a lot of Hezbollah down in Venezuela, right? Venezuela has a lot of Lebanese, as does Peru and here in Panama and other parts of Central America. I mean, there's a lot of Hezbollah already here. Not that all Lebanese are Hezbollah, obviously. We get that. Our Lebanese friends,
Right.
we get it.
We need the emails.
But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but and actually, the weird thing is we see a lot of Iranians coming through. A strange thing is, my whole life I always get along with Iranians, and yet our countries are always at war, and they're obviously at serious war, and Iran has very close, and so does China, connections with Venezuela. Venezuela is key to all this, right? A lot of people don't get that. Even people who study the border in the United States don't understand that nexus of Venezuela. Not just Venezuela, but that is a key thing to keep your eyes on. And another thing, I was having dinner the other night with an American government member here in Panama, and he'd only vaguely heard of World Economic Forum. And this is an older guy, and he's very smart. He'd only vaguely heard of it. And I'm like, you can't possibly even dream of understanding what's going on without understanding what the World Economic Forum is. I mean, if you don't understand that, that's like me saying 2 apples plus 2 apples equals 4 apples, but you don't know what apples are, and you don't You don't know what numbers are, and you don't know what addition is. I mean, it's that basic. You have to understand World Economic Forum and CCP and their collusion to understand what's happening. Without that, you can
On
never...
the doorstep of San Francisco's main government building, a snapshot of America's fentanyl crisis. It doesn't just look stark. An average of one person every 10 hours dies in this city of a fentanyl overdose. It's often here, in the drug-ravaged Tenderloin district. Are you a fentanyl user?
Absolutely. I've been an opiate addict for probably 10 years.
Trevor used to inject heroin, but fentanyl, he says, is a different beast, and he wants everyone to know.
I mean, the fact that this isn't a main issue, I mean, on TV every night is insane to us. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, regular people, square Joes, on their way to work, and they'll stop, hang out with me, try this drug for the first time, and then leave their life. Literally, not leave. From that moment on, they're just out here with us.
Is that what fentanyl does?
To some people, it's insane. I've never seen anything like it. No one has.
What's it doing to the streets?
Man, I mean, it's turning everybody into, a crazy, violent drug addict.
I know, but do that somewhere else. Y'all smoking crack right here. There's a daycare right there.
We're interrupted by private security, asking them to move out of the view of a nursery. This is a city divided on how to deal with the scourge of drugs. Some want the streets swept. Others prefer a more compassionate, health-based approach.
No one wants to end up with a manslaughter charge because someone dies from their product.
Jeff is a former drug dealer and says testing is the answer.
2 stripes would be a negative result. One stripe would be a positive result. Yep. So there's that second line showing up right now.
Simple strip tests are now being used by dealers and users to check for fentanyl. It sometimes contaminates other drug supplies like cocaine. I know you work with one of the largest Mexican street gangs, helping test their cocaine to make sure it doesn't have fentanyl in it or traces of fentanyl in it. How does that work?
If customers start to notice that people are dying from a batch of cocaine and that the autopsy results are showing that it's because of an opioid overdose, no one's buying that cocaine anymore. I mean, it just doesn't make financial sense to kill your customer base.
Across town, beside a homeless encampment, a charity has set up. They hand out clean syringes and overdose reversal treatments. How has fentanyl transformed your home?
People are dying. A lot more people are dying. And it's in a lot of the drug supply, and people are doing it without knowing they're doing it. And it's made substance use horrifyingly deadly.
It's difficult to believe at times that this is one of America's great historic cities, home to more billionaires than anywhere on earth. This is 2 streets from the headquarters of Twitter, but it's an open-air drug market. It is a tragedy with no easy resolution.